Hey everyone, IntoWeapons back again with ya. Wanted to go over another pistol out of the collection that we have. This one is one of my wife's pistols. It's a North American Arms 22 long rifle mini revolver. It's a nice little pistol for the money. Msrp on it is $209 listed on the website. You can find them anywhere between $175 and $225, depending on the variation that you have and if it's new or used. This one was, I believe, used when we bought it, and with taxes and background checks, she paid, I think, $225. So a little bit on the higher end, but it was just a pistol that she wanted, and she thought it was kind of pretty. It does come originally with wood grips on there. She did replace the grips with some replica ivory, I guess is what they call it. It's really just a plastic that looks like ivory, and it kind of adds like a nice little effect to it. She got those directly from the North American Arms website as well. You can buy holsters for these things. You can buy lasers for these things. You can in fact even buy a little bayonet for these things, which is kind of neat. There are different variations for this revolver. You can get it in 22 Magnum, I believe 22 short, and then this one obviously the 22 long rifle. It also does come with different barrel lengths. This one in particular is 1 1/18 inch barrel length, so it is considered the snub nose of the family. Some other details on this revolver. The model number is NAA 22lr. It's a 5-shot capacity. Like I mentioned, it's a 22 long rifle caliber. It's 4 inches in overall length. It's about 2 3/8 inch in overall height. 13/16 inch width, and 4.5 ounces is the weight unloaded. So it is a very light, little, tiny pistol. Originally, she wanted to use this kind of as a secondary carry. After shooting it and getting a feel for it a little bit, I kind of talked her out of that, just mainly because it's a very difficult pistol to use and have any type of real accuracy with this thing, especially if you're in kind of a hasty situation. Really, anything past 4 yards in this thing, the accuracy is non-existent, as far as I can tell. It only does have a front sight on there, as you can see, no type of rear sight. When you do cock the hammer, it does make a clear line of sight there that you don't have to try to line something up, but it is difficult to try to figure out where exactly that round's going to go. As you can see with the videos, we didn't have very good accuracy, and I believe we were shooting at 4 yards, so it's something that it's not really something you want to rely on for your life, especially being that it's just 22 long rifle. You do have to cock the hammer back every time you want to fire it, and it does have a pretty decent trigger pull. It's I would say maybe 1.5 pounds at max, but even though you're not supposed to do this, I'll go ahead and show you. There you go. So overall, it's a nice little pistol, but I wouldn't rely on this for my life. And it's more of a novelty type gun. It's an all steel frame construction. It's got a nice steel cylinder in there, and then the third part here really is just the pin which holds this in here, and also can be used as an extractor when you're trying to get those rounds out, as this one does not have a built-in extractor just to kind of push everything out. As you can imagine, with a gun this small, it's difficult to have a lot of those features and things of that nature on this type of pistol. So overall, guys, how you operate this thing is, like I mentioned, you kind of push in this button here and pull it out, and once you do that, it releases the cylinder on the inside in here, and typically what you want to do is cock it back to half cock, and that will release the tension on the cylinder, and then you can push the cylinder right out the right hand side. I don't believe it allows you to go in from the left hand side. Actually, it looks like it does. So you can go in left or right, I guess, but typically I think we always go in from the right hand side of the gun. Once you have the cylinder out, you just manually load up a round on each one of those cylinders. As I mentioned, there isn't an extractor here or anything, so once you are done firing it, what I usually do is tip it over. If it doesn't just automatically come out, which most of the time they do, you can use this as kind of an extractor and push them out. Once you have it loaded up, what you do is slide it back into the cylinder and insert your cylinder pin there, and at that point then it should be operational. There is a built-in safety into this firearm, which is kind of interesting. Instead of having the pin on half cock or even on full cock and you know, accidentally have this thing come down on top of it, there is little notches between each one of these cylinders, and I think it's going to be difficult for you to see here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a picture of that, but there is notches cut right into the cylinder itself, which allow the trigger or the hammer to come down into those positions. You kind of just line it up here into one of those spots and then pull the trigger ever so lightly. And this is not the easiest thing to do, I tell you guys. I always have a difficult time trying to get this thing to actually do it, but there we go. Then it rests and locks the cylinder, but it also rests outside of one of the cylinders, so you're not having to worry about this hammer resting on a round or accidentally triggering one of those rounds to go off. So kind of an interesting little safety mechanism. From that point forward, you can just recock it again and you're ready to go. But overall, when I shoot this thing is so small, it really just pops right out of my hand. I have to reposition. It's difficult for me to even get my hand on this thing, as you can see. It's just too small. My wife even has a hard time with it, and she's got some really small hands. So, again, more of a novelty gun. I would not recommend buying this for any type of home defense or self-defense, carry type situation. This is really just to go out and do some plinging at 2 or 3 yards, which there really is not a whole lot of fun in that much anyway. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I appreciate watching, and take her easy.